the Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, the Seven of Hearts. Exactly.
What she said. This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the kung flu, is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
We love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen. Yeah, your intro is fantastic.
Yes, indeed, Eric Roberts. You know what else he loves, Sook?
Us.
My orange sneakers.
Oh.
Huh? Sook, can you imagine? Look at me. I'm matching the set right now.
I love it. Here we are in the Odyssey Studios
Uh-huh.
in downtown Manhattan.
You know what's crazy? About 5 years ago, my wife bought me these Adidas. And I never wore them. They were sitting on the shelf.
And now you
all the kids will bring them back to you. What are they, Sambas, Sook?
I guess they're Sambas, yeah.
Are these Sambas? I don't know. They
know.
look like them, but now I'm chilling out. I got the short sock. You can see my
aren't Sambas
ankles.
black and white, or is
it's the type.
It's the type. Okay.
It's the type. So I've got every color now because I got to be cool.
Okay.
And that's the way it is. So yeah, I'm sport, and it actually matches the set beautifully.
You look great.
I look fantastic. Yeah, I look fantastic.
You look fantastic.
What an amazing summer it's been. We're back. Little reprieve.
Yeah.
And Sook, see, here's what happens, Sook. When we take a break, right? You've been all over the world in the last 3 weeks. When we take a break from this show, everybody starts emailing and texting because
where are you? Where
are you guys? Can I get so and so on? Can I get so and so on? Can I get so and so on? And people have movies coming out.
Right.
People have new albums coming out, and everybody wants to get on the show because they know how much fun everybody has. So it just in the last week alone. Not only do we have Dean Cain, by the way, coming up on this particular show, Superman, ladies and gentlemen. We got Superman, okay? So take it easy. We got Vanessa Williams.
Norm Lewis
is coming up soon. Norm Lewis is coming up soon. Do you remember LaShawn's, the singer LaShawn's?
Yeah, LaShawn's.
She's coming up. Yeah. She's going to be on the same time as Vanessa Williams.
Oh, that's great.
We got a whole bunch of... John O'Hurley's coming on from Seinfeld. He's a narrator in a really new cool movie. So we got
the last time we had John O'Hurley on, we had him I think use his voice to do Rapper's Delight.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was on our Pix 11 show.
That was so funny.
When he comes on, we will definitely play that for him. And by the way, when Norm Lewis comes on, remember the second day I was on the morning show with you. Only my second day. Norm Lewis was on. Remember, I jumped up and I started singing.
Of course, you were like,
Then I'll return. I pledge my word. We were singing Les Mis because he was the first African American guy to be in Les Mis to play the security guy. I forget his name. Valjean at last. Not Valjean, the other guy.
I don't know.
We see each other playing.
Is that terrible? Am I the only one that hasn't seen Les Mis?
Anyway, listen, we got Dean Cain. You've never even seen Les Mis?
No, is that terrible?
That's a crime.
I know it is a crime. I know your mom played the record ad nauseum in your
You're gonna tell me you've never seen High School Musical 1, 2, or 3?
No. I know. My kids don't they watch it, but they don't watch it. Like your kids are a little bit older, and so that it hasn't translated down.
I'm not sure we can hang out anymore, Sook. Anyway, we got Dean Cain's coming up on this particular program. Suki, Dean Cain has been in so many TV shows and movies.
So many.
That once we're going to talk about the new movie he's in, and it looks fantastic. We have got a Dean Cain synopsis quiz for Dean Cain to play.
I'm sure Dean is so excited.
We're going to see if Dean knows the synopses of his movies and can tell us what those movies are. We'll quiz them. We've done this with a few celebrities and actors. Sometimes they know.
And they've all done really well.
Yeah, sometimes they know. Sometimes they've been in so many that they forget. But anyway, Dean is in a new movie called God Is Not Dead, In God We Trust, and it comes out on September 12th. Sook, the folks in this movie. Let me read it. David A.R. White, Samara Armstrong, Scott Baio's in it.
Scott Baio.
Isaiah Washington.
Oh, Charlene Tilton.
Charlene Tilton.
Yeah.
What did you call her?
Charlene Tilton.
Charlene Tilton. Wasn't she in like Dallas?
She was in Dallas.
Yeah, right. She was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Charlene Tilton's in this one. But again, our guy Dean Cain joining us today. We're going to show you a little a trailer of the movie. Take a look. We bring Dean on the other side. We're going to go through it all. Watch this. It's going to be an awesome flick. Check it out.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation going under.
Now more than ever, Christians must realize that we are being called to deliver hope to a country that's feeling hopeless. Faith begins where your comfort zone ends. We need to step out into that faith.
We're 6 weeks out from Election Day, and a lot of folks have lost hope in the future of our country.
We must maintain a wall of separation between church and state. Religion has no place in the public square.
Once they bankrupt our country, they will have complete control.
Where did we go wrong, Lord?
We need someone who can light a fire in the voters.
The preacher. He helped on those education hearings.
I've been hired to manage your campaign for Congress.
I'm not a politician.
If you don't take on this fight, we could lose everything.
They found someone to run against you.
Are we worried about a preacher?
My next guest is a candidate for Congress. You're going to get a lot of questions about your faith.
Well, maybe people are looking for more spiritual and moral leadership in Washington.
You're making God an easy target for them, Pastor.
God's not the target, Lottie. Our country is. God's just standing in their way.
I will not be made a fool of. I won't stop until your moral high ground crumbles beneath your feet.
You don't win unless you play by their rules.
I feel like I have two options. I can either do the things my faith asks me not to, or I lose this race. It's like God keeps putting these impossible mountains in front of me.
Perhaps God put those mountains in front of you to show that they can be moved.
Let's pray for David, guys.
In God we trust.
This contest is about shaping the future of our nation.
Keep your boy in line. It's like his God. I can give it, and I can take it away.
How do you know it's God?
Reverend Hill, your beliefs are a textbook example of Christian nationalism.
Whenever anyone of faith promotes a policy that you don't like, you label them a Christian nationalist. We need to stand up. Send the message to Washington. Tell them you're not ready to give that power up. You have the power to change things. Not me, not him, you.
In God we trust. And without God, democracy will not and cannot long endure.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. We need Ronald Reagan back, Dean.
I love Ronald Reagan. You know, having him speak at the beginning and the end there, bookmark it, gives it a depth and a feeling that even when I first saw him come on, I was like, oh, he was one of my favorite, if not my favorite president. I was very fortunate and blessed to have met him. Right when I started doing Superman, he called up and heard that I was a former football player, and he asked me to come in and sit down with him, and that was one of the greatest moments ever. And he wrote me we took a picture, and he wrote me a little inscription on the bottom. It said, "To Dean, I have always wondered, what do you do when there isn't a phone booth?" Warmly.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I have it over here somewhere.
What an incredible keepsake.
Yeah, wow.
But the movie is fantastic. It seems very, very timely. All those things that we're saying in the film, you hear it being said on the campaign trail now. So it's apropos.
So tell us about the movie. Why did you want to be a part of it? Why did you feel like, now is the time to get that sort of message out to the world?
Well, so this is the fifth movie, but it's not God's Not Dead 5. It's the fifth movie with the same sort of characters. My character, Mark Shelley, was in the first film, and he's not a great guy. He in the first film, his girlfriend tells him, she's got cancer. And he's like, well, then I think we're done because that doesn't fit into my whole plan. You're out. Not a great guy. And he's the only person who didn't have any sort of redeeming qualities in the first film. In this film, and they're all standalone films. This fifth film, he comes back because he's a political power broker. And those people very much exist in our current political world. And he is a person who wants what he wants, and he'll do what it takes to get that. And so he's not a great guy. He ends up backing certain candidates, and as he says in the film, I can giveth and I can taketh away, much like his God. It's a great, timely film that asks those questions. I think it's really important given the things that are going on today. That here's the thing: is like 40 million Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in the world of 40 million Christians here in the United States don't vote. And it's like, get out and vote. I mean, I was watching NFL games because I'm a former NFL player. Where is it? Right there. There's my Buffalo Bills helmet. That's the only team that really plays in New York, by the way. Just throwing it out there.
Come on now.
And the Bills
got
did
two
really
teams
well.
that play in New Jersey. Two teams play in Jersey, where I went to college. So that's the other helmet. That's that
Princeton
helmet.
University.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Suki. Thank you.
Yes.
For remembering.
Princeton University. We know it all too well.
Yeah. Don't worry. We
Don't worry, we didn't get into it. You did.
Dean, don't worry. We got the Brooke Shields shots coming up. Don't you worry, pal.
I'm suddenly choking.
I love it.
I mean, but what a life. I mean, like Dean has been doing this for a very long time, and he's just such an incredible, gentleman. I mean, every time he comes on the show, we've had him on Pixel 11. I don't know how many times, but like every time, Dean, you're one of these people that just is from the heart all the time. And I just love that your humility when you come into an environment like this, that you're able to, really give us the true authentic you, which sometimes you don't get. You don't really get it.
The actors notoriously just don't want to. They want to just be somebody else or a character that they've had written for them. And I completely understand that. My dad told me early on in my career, he's like, look, don't talk about yourself. Just don't give them anything of your personal life. I ignored that completely and just told me wide open book. I should listen to my dad, but as an actor, they want you to be, the more mystery surrounding you, probably the better.
Right.
But I do so much more than just acting. And I think at this point in time
you do
in my life, there's a saying, you may not be interested in politics, but I promise you politics are interested in you.
Yeah.
So to be involved, to be engaged, I enjoy that very much. And I think it's important as an American citizen to be informed and have an opinion and go ahead and share it.
When you play a guy like a Mark Shelley, I got to assume it's probably pretty fun to play a guy that's not so nice from time to time, right?
Of course, playing a hero is much more difficult. When you play a guy like Mark Shelley, you have a goal, and you can do anything that you need to do to achieve that goal. You can walk over people, you can lie to people, you can mislead them, you can laugh at their hurt. It's really freeing because I would never do any of that in real life.
Yeah. I think what you said is really important. It's so much different than your actual personality.
Yeah.
So it's
a license to be a bad guy.
But you were also, wore that cape for so many years as Superman.
Let's talk about it.
And as a young person too, and you wore it with such,
There
such honor and such, a kindness, and like there was such a generosity about it. Tell us about when you landed that role, Superman, and did you think that,
tell me more about Terry Hatcher, Dean. Tell me about Terry.
Stop it.
Well, just to quote Terry's line from Seinfeld, they're real and they're spectacular. Terry was, I think, without a doubt, I think she was the best Lois Lane of all time. She did a great job. She drove that show with her character, always getting in trouble, and wonderful. I was just so happy to have a job. I was a young actor, happy to have a real job, and then terrified that people might not buy me as Superman because Christopher Reeve was my Superman. I grew up watching him, and
of course.
When they were like, "You're going to play Superman," I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
The first time we put on that, lycra pantyhose stuff, and I was like, "This is what we're doing. This doesn't feel right." Then finally we put the S on there, and everything kind of got better. But I was just hoping that people would like me as the character, accept me as the character, and then as you go through it, I think the character. It's the same with like Supergirl or any of that sort of genre of superhero. You have to have a certain kindness and empathy for people. And I think that kindness, like Melissa Benoist is phenomenal. Like what a lovely human being and a really a kind, compassionate person. And I think you have to have that as a person. And a lot of people will accuse me of not having that, but you have to have two sides to you. As an athlete, if you line up me across me on the football field, you're not going to think I'm very kind or compassionate.
Yeah.
But that's part of the game.
I got
That's the gridiron. Yeah.
What position did you play again, Dean?
Free safety.
Free safety. Wow, hard hitting. I have to imagine when you were playing Superman. We'll get back to the movie in a sec. When you were playing Superman, were you? What was the regimen like for you on a day? Were you like crazy with the eating and the working out, or you were just kind of like, yeah, this is the way I look, I'm good?
Well, I just come from the NFL a couple of years earlier. I was skinny. They thought they wanted me to bulk up. They're like, but I was like, when, how? So because we worked 18 to 20 hours every single day, just all day long. So I had to do everything on set. You had to eat, and I just had meals were just prepared, so I didn't think about them. I never was like hungry or anything like that. I never thought about meals because it was just like, okay, we have a break. I have to eat. We have to go here. And it kind of becomes, you become like an automaton in that sense because you're working the whole time. Your mind is going and you're playing the character. But when you have a minute down, it's like sustenance, sleep, then you work out. They didn't have a gym on Warner Brothers lot when we first started. And then after our first season, 2 other shows came in that they were okay. A show called Friends and another show called ER. So those 2 shows came in, were humongous hits, and then we got a gym, and it was great. So then I could zip off to the gym for 30 minutes, 40 minutes here and there, and it was, so I could work that out. But it was difficult to try to stay in shape while getting 6 hours of sleep a night and working all those hours. So it was a tough haul. I wasn't heartbroken when I had a break, but it's one of those things, in Hollywood, when I was first starting, was like, if you don't work now, it's never going to happen. So in between, you have to work on this, and you have to do this, and you got to be careful and balance that out. I see how those kids get burned out and start to have trouble.
There's a lot of that micromanaging pressure, that if it doesn't happen now, it's never going to happen ever.
And you're young.
We all know with age that things happen for a reason, and you're meant to walk a certain path for a reason. And you have to believe in that in your core. Listen, I don't want to do a trip down memory lane, but can we just talk about 90210 just really quickly?
Yeah, come on, 90210. And by the way, I think you played Shannon Doherty's boyfriend on the show, right?
That's correct. Yes.
And she just passed away.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on that, man? I mean, it was just so heartbreaking.
Terrible because I saw Shannon a couple of years back. She's best friends with one of the kids I grew up with as well. And she was doing so well. She, the cancer was in remission. It's, we all face our mortality. It's a terrible, ending we all have. And that's where faith comes in and plays a big part. And I feel horribly because she's so young, had gone through so much. And then, to have the hope that look, I'm all better. And then have that not be the case. I just can't. It's heartbreaking. And Luke Perry also we've lost from the show, who was just such a great guy. Both of them were fantastic. And the show, when I did the show, was the biggest show in the world. And it was really interesting to see the way they did things. And I remember Luke, welcoming me in. He came over and goes, "Hey, I'm Luke. Nice to meet you. I really appreciate you being on the show. I love what you're doing." And I was like, "Oh," as opposed to being like, "What's up, man? I'm Luke. Get out of here." So he was really great. And that taught me how to really welcome people on my own show. And I did that every time we had someone come in. I'd go knock on their trailer and say, "Hi, thank you so much for coming in," and blah, blah, blah. And that was just, it was a great lesson for making people feel warm and welcome there. And, my heart breaks for Shannon, for her family, her mom. It's one of those things, you just have to just put your faith in God and go, look, there's a reason that God did this. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But you have to find that.
Yeah.
When you were able to walk onto that show and play the part that you were playing, and again, it was the hottest show in the world, right? Because everybody was so friggin' good looking. How did that change your career, Dean, at that moment? Did things start to skyrocket for you from that show?
Well, so Aaron Spelling, Mr. Spelling, as we used to call him, used to have sort of a stable of actors that he would use, and this and that, whatever. So I was starting to get into the stable. So once I got 4 episodes on 90210, it kind of gives you a little bit more cachet. And I've been around for a few years. And just after doing that, there's like a moment. I was offered 4 different shows at the same time. And the one I chose was Superman because it was on the air, guaranteed for 6 episodes and so on and so forth. These are all business decisions. In fact, you have to sign your contract before you go in and test for the network.
Wow, really?
Which is everybody. This is something that people don't realize. So you make your deal before you go test for the network. So you know how much money is on the line and what's on the line for you when you go. It sucks because, you're going in there, you're like, there's so much money on the line here. And so you know what's going on there. And it's just there's a lot of pressure, to put it mildly. And then you hope to get lucky. And I was getting lucky at this point in time. It was sort of the time where I was going to get my job. You kind of knew it was going to happen. And then I made a choice. And it was certainly the momentum from 90210 made that happen.
It's a shame you were so ugly back in the day.
Maybe we all have our crosses to bear, my friend.
Yeah, maybe you could have got more roles, Dean, if you maybe were a little better looking with good hair. You know what I mean?
Thank God the hair is hanging in there too.
Oh, yeah, dude, look at you. Not bad. Not bad.
No gray.
Got a cut yesterday, and
you went gray.
Overnight, I turned into a snowman.
I've gotten lucky with that. But I got my hair cut yesterday, and the girl was cutting my hair, and I was like, people accuse me of dyeing my hair. She's like, you're mostly pepper, but you get a little bit of salt in there. It's hanging in there. So I'm happy.
I love it. The movie, God Is Not Dead and God We Trust, coming out on September 12th. I got a little clip for you with you. And is it Samir Armstrong?
Samari.
How do you say it?
Samari.
Oh, Samari. Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, Samari Armstrong.
She had to teach me. And every time I said it wrong, right there.
I love it. Beautiful actress nonetheless. Take a look at a quick clip with you guys in it. Watch.
We both know that you're losing truckloads of cash each day that this project is stalled. You've made assurances that you can't keep.
And you don't have a prayer without my money. Like I said, mutually beneficial.
Well, either way, it's illegal to influence a campaign. If we do agree to this, I don't want you even talking to Reverend Hill.
Fine. But then it's on you to keep your boy in line. As much like his God, I can giveth and I can taketh away.
That is the line, isn't that?
Dean giveth and Dean taketh away.
I can do it. Where do you want to be?
It's amazing as people in real life, in politics, behind the scenes.
I'm sure it's as
that
dirty,
are all,
right?
It's dirty. You can't even imagine. You can't write how dirty it is the way things go on in real life.
I promise you, it's a lot more dirty than that.
Yeah, craziness.
So, well, tell us what it was like to work with Sam Marie and also Scott Baio.
Yeah, man,
and,
great cast.
Isaiah Washington as well.
Good people. Most of the people, I mostly worked with Sam Marie. Scott and we're on different campaigns, so to speak. He's on the other side as the campaign manager. So I didn't get to work with Scott, but I've known Scott forever, love him to death. And so I mostly worked with Sam Marie. And she's great. It's other than being absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, she is a sweetheart and really a giving, wonderful actress. And so I was very happy to do that. Ray Wise is great as the other guy running for office.
Yeah, Ray Wise is in there.
Powerful and strong as a current congressman. It's a great cast. It's a great story, and I think it's really timely.
We were talking about the franchise, right? Why do you think God is, Not Dead, such a popular franchise? And like you said, it's a message that we don't see in a lot of movies these days. I was saying, like, movies to my husband, it feels a little dystopic, right? Everything feels like, when we were growing up, there was a lesson to learn. At the end, there was a message, and we all walked out and we said, "Oh, there's a moral to the story." And nowadays, you sometimes watch shows and you're like, "What's the message here?" I mean, are we all doomed?
And dank and awful, and we're all gonna suck.
Yeah,
that's sometimes that's what you get, and I agree with that. So I think it's wonderful to see this message. You felt it in that trailer. Thank you for playing that, by the way, where it just feels uplifting and feels good.
Yeah.
And I love being a part of a film like that makes you, feel hopeful.
And that's why the franchise is so popular, I think.
Of course. Yes, I think so. And then we all wrestle with that question of faith. And even the most, devout Christians I know, you have moments where you have to question your faith. Shannon Doherty passing like that. It brings up those questions. And that's something we all deal with. It's a universal thing. So I think it's super important. And hopefully if we can get something like that where it's hopeful, in this time where everything seems to be negative, all the news seems to be negative. It's great to have something that's hopeful.
We've sort of pivoted, and it seems to we need to get the barometer back to the middle somehow, somewhere. I always tell my kids, like, we didn't grow up like this. I just, you know, I don't want to sound like the generation before me, like in my era, but you know, we did grow up at a time that was, you know, there's a lot of, we lived in a lot of possibilities, and nowadays we kind of live in a time where things feel like it can never happen, it can never be, and I don't believe in that, and so it's great that, you know, we have this sort of messaging that's out there. That's, you know, you can dwell in possibilities. Life is filled with decisions that you make every day to make life a little bit better, and you can help your community every day. And we've forgotten about community too. That's something else we've forgotten about.
Absolutely. You know, and I'll take something that one of my favorite actors and friend of mine, I was able to work opposite him, Denzel Washington, said, you know, get knocked down 8 times, get up 9. You know, there's a positivity to it. You make that decision, and you decide to get back up. I look at my son who's 24, his girlfriend is 21. I look at the way they look at the world. It doesn't have as optimistic a view as I had. You know, it really doesn't. And it's unfortunate because it should. I keep trying to teach him optimism, that like hard work and the individual can accomplish anything in this world. You look at a guy like Elon Musk, with the stuff that he's done with the space and, you know, that sort of thing. You look at that, that's just it makes my head explode, the thinking behind that, but it's wonderful. And I want this generation to go get back to that optimistic point of view. I really hope that happens. I can't
believe you have a 24-year-old son. When did that happen?
15 minutes ago. It just went.
I hear you, bud. I hear you. It's unbelievable. Well, Dean, listen, we're going to play the Dean Cain synopsis quiz in just a sec. But I had to bring up, because of course, Ripley's Believe It or Not, you're so synonymous with that now as well. Yeah. And I was always one of those guys, if, you know, as I was in college, we'd go to Niagara Falls. There was a Ripley's Believe It or Not. There's one down in Orlando on International Boulevard.
You go there.
I always loved that stuff. And once in a while, you'd walk in, and one of those people who were, you know, that you would, like, the world's tallest man. I was in Niagara Falls. And the world's tallest man is standing in the
Robert Ludlow.
You know, you walk around the corner, and there they are. That had to be pretty cool for you, right? Because you know, you have producers and directors, and they, you know, they're giving you scripts, and you're out there and you're hosting. But a lot of the stuff you've come across must have been absolutely mind blowing, right?
Well, the great thing about that show is I produced it as well. So
great.
I got to see everything. What I loved about it was it's the kind of thing that I would have watched anyway, but it was done differently. Like the way that it was done prior was, you know, it was, you know, Believe It or Not, and it was a whole different sort of scary feel to it. Jack Palance, who's an amazing guy and a great actor. But I wanted to be more like the curator of the strange and the unusual.
Oddities,
And I enjoyed it because I thought it was fun and funny and hysterically. I didn't want to make fun of the people on it, but I wanted to be like, wow. And I always read those growing up. So I was ecstatic to be able to take that to the air and do it in the way I wanted to. But I was never ceased to be amazed because we had so many producers out there. They'd bring in these little pieces and go like, what do we think of this? And shocking and surprising. And so Robert Ripley was a very interesting individual in his own right, a purveyor of the strange and the unusual.
Yeah.
We almost made a movie about his life, which is,
that'd be interesting.
I mean, he's the kind of guy who had like 3 little Japanese girls in the back and all, I mean, like all kinds of crazy stuff that he did. You're like, what? At that time, especially too. So he was the purveyor of the strange and unusual. I loved being part of that show. And that was when I realized how quick fame moves, because I just finished Lois and Clark. I just finished playing Superman. I was so used to hearing that all the time, that guy. And then I came into an airport and was getting my bag, and some kid was like, hey, oh my gosh, you're and I was expecting Superman. He goes, you're the Ripley's Believe It or Not guy.
You're like, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that took 5 minutes, you know. Now I'm Supergirl's dad or whatever it is, or Scott Peterson or whatever it happens to be, or Mark Shelley. And it's really interesting to watch how that changes, and it changes quickly.
That's amazing. You know, I saw you with Terry Hatcher, and I remember seeing her. I think for me, the first time I saw Terry Hatcher, she was in Tango and Cash.
Oh yeah.
Right? She was a stripper. She was
hot.
Sylvester Stallone's daughter, right? Or no, sister.
Sister.
And who played Cash? Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Yes.
she was up on the stage dancing in the strip
Beautiful.
club. She was gorgeous. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Again, real and spectacular, Scott.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I love that you're still friends to this day. I
Oh
love
yeah, absolutely. You know, you become brother and sister. We're not brother and sister. Brooke and I know. Absolutely not. That's forbidden. But
that was your time in Princeton. We dug that out.
Lovely, wonderful, one of the best people you ever meet, which I'm sure you have. And she's amazing.
Yeah, great. Well, you know what? When next time we see her, we'll pull out the same shot. Don't worry. All right, Dean, are you ready to roll? Listen, you've been in so many different things. You've been in so many movies.
Synopsis quiz time.
We're gonna read the synopsis, and all you have to do is tell us the name of the movie. All right, now I went to pick out the ones where you're kind of on the cover, so this should be a little easier for you. So here we go. Let's test it out. You ready? Here's the first one. We'll put a minute on the clock. This is for all the marbles. And when we do it, we'll actually see the movies come up on the screen.
Oh, good.
Here we go.
Yeah, this.
Here we go. 4 middle-aged ladies discover a purpose when they launch a unique fundraising effort to save a local women's shelter from imminent foreclosure.
I know it's the cupcake movie. It's the Sweet Inspirations.
Yes, nicely done, my friend. You are cupcake movie. 1 for 1. Nicely done. Suk, hit him with the next one.
All right. After a girl's wish for animals to have the ability to speak come true, some local robbers tried and capture a talking hedgehog.
Andy the Talking Hedgehog.
Yes!
Of course. You just gave it to me on that one.
Nicely done, my friend.
Good little kids movie.
Here we go. Next one. A violinist has hallucinations that show her the collapse of space and time. The vision she experiences and the things she hears leads her to a portal through time and space to a parallel dimension.
Ooh.
Yeah, having the title for this one's going to be tough. I can tell you where I shot it. It was in Michigan.
2016, Dean.
2016.
Shot it in Michigan almost 10 years ago, which means it was 12 years. Oh my gosh, the title for it. I'm not going to, not The Black Hole. Not
Nicely done, my friend.
You got it.
The old steel trap still
Black
going.
Hole,
It's
son.
good. That's it.
All right, Sue, hit him with the next one.
When 2 execs compete for the same co-host position at the nation's favorite morning show in Manhattan, they discover that the fire that burned between them is still alive.
Burning Fire. That one is called Broadcasting Christmas.
Nicely done, my friend. Nicely done.
He's so great. That's
that
a good
was also
one.
2016.
Who was
You're
your
busy.
Who was your
Melissa Joan Hart.
All right, Melissa Joan Hart. Wow.
She produced it as well, and she's lovely, wonderful. 900 kids, all in Connecticut, running around.
All right,
your hot Alabama husband.
4 for 4, my friend. Here we go. After the murder of his wife, a tough-as-nails detective infiltrates a prison and uncovers a criminal enterprise.
Vendetta.
Ooh.
Nice.
That's a butt kicker. That's a
and the
butt
bonus.
kicking
The
movie.
bonus.
This is the bonus. This is for all the marbles right now. Sheriff Rick has lost his holiday spirit, but when he arrests an intruder on Christmas Eve who claims to be Santa, his world is turned upside down and he is shown love is all around him.
It's not Defending Santa.
No.
It's not. And it's also shot in Michigan, by the way.
2014.
10 years ago. There's my head is full, so like one piece of knowledge will fall out, like the Bundy girl in oh my gosh, what was the name of that one? I've almost got it.
You're gonna miss the last one, Dean?
I know.
Sheriff Rick. I think
just like my Buffalo Bills.
You're Sheriff Rick in this movie, right?
I know. I can't.
We
even did. Remember that silly? There's a silly song thing. We did the whole song there.
Yeah.
We made a video about it. Oh my gosh.
You're not going to be happy if you don't get this one.
I don't know. Can we get
I'm unhappy. I can't. I got nothing.
Holiday Miracle.
Holiday Miracle.
Nothing. You can even. I was lost all the way. Even when you said Holiday Miracle, I thought there might be one more word.
I think you did pretty well.
That just means you've been in too many movies.
And you're too busy. That's what it means. You're busy.
I love it. I love it.
I got over 200 now.
In God We Trust, September 12th, out on the theaters. You got politics, religion. Does God still have a place in politics? It's very current. What's coming up next for you? What can we expect from you?
Well, we just got renewed for season, 11, I think, of Masters of Illusion on the CW.
Oh, that's another one I love, Masters of Illusion.
Great fun. I don't know how to do any magic. Don't ever ask me. It'll never happen. I just don't have the magic bug. I mean, I don't have the skill. These guys are very dexterous with their hands and things. And then the Hollywood Christmas Parade I'll be hosting this year. And I have about 4 other movies and television shows to shoot at least between now and the end of the year.
Wow.
That's excellent.
Wow.
Excellent. We
thought
love it.
We thought Eric Roberts was busy, man.
No.
But I write and produce at the same time too. So I have about,
I love it.
I mean, I could stay home for a month and still not be done with my work. So it's good.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
That's
Dean
amazing.
Cain. Dean, thank you so much, man. Thanks for taking some time. Hope you had a good time and
Always.
Amazing career, and you're still banging them out. You still got a beautiful head of hair. I'm so jealous. But thank you.
Can't find the gray, Scott. I'm looking for the gray. I don't have just not.
You got to go with a little Just for Men. Once you start seeing them, you shampoo it in, you'll never notice. Listen, next movie that comes out, bud, please come back.
Love to. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, my
Thanks
man.
a lot, Dean.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Love it.
Oh, I
Wow.
love him.
What a nice guy,
What a
Sue.
class act.
Great
I
guy.
forgot about Masters of Illusion.
I know. You know what? It's funny because I knew there was something
we
else.
had so many
The
illusionists.
magicians.
Yes.
Yeah. We had so many of those guys on. Jeffrey. No.
You called.
You rang.
The one thing you didn't put up was the graphic for Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Where is it?
It's
That's
in
not
there.
labeled.
Not in there?
No. I put it. The only things that didn't go up were the TV guides. This.
Oh yeah, TV guy. Look at him.
This.
Jenny Garth.
Oh, Winter's Dream.
Again, they weren't labeled, so I didn't know what they were.
Right.
And then I figured that the last thing at the end was you maybe cue something with.
Oh yeah, I forgot to get back to what's her
Princeton.
name? Brooke.
Yeah, I figured you'd pick up on that at the end because it was such a good one. But all right.
I thought it was a great interview.
Great
Nonetheless.
show. Good show. Another. You got to go see the movie. It's coming out on September 12th. And it's just, listen, what a career that guy's had.
Incredible.
Hello, he's like, yeah, President Reagan invited me to come hang.
Well, he was there during all that time, right? Think
Yeah.
about it. The Gipper was also on the gridiron, and so, here he is. He's playing Superman, and he was playing
What a
Princeton
life.
University. He was. I mean, like this kid.
Crazy. Buffalo Bills.
And like now he's writing, producing. I remember when he was on the show, and he had just had his baby. So the kid's 24 years old.
24 years old. Yeah.
I was like, wow, where did time go?
Well, we fooled him again, Jeff. We fooled him again.
Hey, this was just interesting day.
Hectic, but we got through it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another spectacular edition of this here Suki and Scott show. We're coming back with a whole lot more celebrities. Like we said, we got Vanessa Williams coming, Norm Lewis. Who else? John O'Hurley. We got a lot of people set up.
So many people all set up. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. I got to go to sleep.
Truthfully, I'm waiting for Dr. Phil because I need some therapy at this point.
I know, Dr. Phil. His network's already collapsing. You saw that?
No, I didn't see that.
Dr. Phil's network's already falling apart.
Oh,
they just
boy.
fired 100 people.
Oh boy.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We love you guys. Jeannie Clay, Pam Apolloni.
Thank
We love
you.
everybody
We love you all.
watching. And stick around. Lots more to do. We'll see you next time right here on an all-new, soon-to-be award-winning edition of the Suki and Scott Show.
Baby, here I am again, kicking dust in the canyon wind, waiting for that sun to go down. Made it up Mulholland Drive, hell-bent on getting high, high above the lights of town. 'Cause you and tequila make me crazy, run like poison in my blood. One more night could kill me, baby, One is one too many. One more is never enough. "30 days and 30 nights, been putting up a real good fight. There were times I thought you'd win. It's so easy to forget the bitter taste that the morning left. I swore I wouldn't go back again, yeah. 'Cause you and tequila make me crazy. Run like poison in my blood. One more night could kill me, baby. One is one too many. One more is never enough. When it comes to you, whoa, the damage I could do. It's always your favorite sins that do you in, yeah. "'Cause you and tequila make me crazy. Run like poison in my blood. One more night could kill me, baby. One is one too many. One more is never enough. Never enough. You and tequila. You and tequila, yeah. Yeah.
I want to know, take you all the way back. How did you guys actually meet? And how did you end up with Rick Ocasek?
Well, actually, this is in my book. So for those of you watching this program, please, if you're interested, you buy my book.
Buy the book. Go get the book. Just give us a tidbit. Give us a tidbit.
I go into great detail in my book about how we met. But the tidbit is I was called by my agent to go and audition for a MTV video for a band that she really liked. And I was, I came from Europe, so I had never heard of this band. I didn't know. She said, no, it's a really great American band. And I was like, okay, whatever you say. The Cars, never heard of them. And so when I went to audition for the video, mostly because I heard Timothy Hutton, the actor, was directing the video. And him I had heard of because he had just won an Academy Award for Ordinary People.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool, I'll get to meet, somebody famous. And then, of course, I walked into a room because the band offered to take me out to dinner before we shot the video.
Of course they did.
Of course they did. They're like, hello.
You're Paulina Porizkova, for God's sakes.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, I guess I was Paulina Porizkova back then too, but perhaps not as well known. Right. But I hadn't, I didn't know that was not necessarily the normal thing to do. So so I went out to dinner with the band, and we met in the Four Seasons Hotel. And I remember the band was all assembled around the table, and we were sitting there waiting. And I was like, "So, are we going to go to dinner? We're just going to sit at the coffee table and stare at each other." And they said, "No, we're just waiting for Rick. He'll be right out." And then the door opened, and my husband walked out, and I was just. I looked at him across the room, and he looked at me, And like our eyes just kept staying, like we were just staring at each other. And he had this really beautiful, elegant walk. And he sort of slowly walked over to me and he sat right next to me. And I went, well, so I'm either going to throw up or just pass out, because right now I am so nervous that I can't function.
He so did that on purpose, by the way. He showed up last on purpose.
Oh, my husband knew exactly how to time his entrances. Oh, yeah. I mean, he was a performer. He knew what he was doing. And he admitted that later. I said, right now I'm so nervous that if I pass out, don't mind me. It just happens to me sometimes. And then later he said, that's the moment where I fell in love with you, because you were honest. You were vulnerable. You weren't pretending to be somebody you're not. So see, I've always been this crazy.
We love Disney songs and doing our family twist.
How far I'll go.
How far I'll go
from Moana. Yeah, we love
You want to do a little of that one?
How far I'll go. How far I'll go.
How far I'll go.
Here at the edge of the water, long as I can remember, never really knowing why.
I wish I could be the perfect daughter, but I come back to the water, no matter how hard I try.
Every time every train. We'd be here for 4 minutes, but yeah.
I'm going to perform. It's fantastic.
When the sun goes down on my side of town, that lonesome feeling comes to my door, and the whole world turns blue. There's a rundown bar across the railroad tracks. I got a table for two, and it's way in the back, where I sit alone and think of losing you. I spend most every night beneath the light of a neon moon. Now if you lose your one and only, there's always room here for the lonely to watch your broken dreams dance in and out of the beams of a neon moon. I think of two young lovers running wild and free. I close my eyes and sometimes see you in the shadows of this smoke-filled room. No telling how many tears I've sat here and cried, or how many lies that I've lied, telling my poor heart she'll come back someday. Whoa, but I'll be alright as long as there's light from a neon moon. Whoa, if you lose your one and only, there's always room here for the lonely to watch your broken dreams dance in and out of the beams of a neon moon. Plays on drink by drink, and the words of every sad song seem to say what I think, and it hurts inside of me. Hell, it ain't never gonna end. Oh, but I'll be alright as long as there's light from a neon moon. Oh, if you lose your one and only, there's always room here for the lonely to watch your broken dreams dance in and out of the beams of a neon. out of the beams of a neon moon. Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
Well, you know, one thing, the reason I stayed with Frank so long, he never knew how much in awe of him I was, because I picked up on that the moment I met him. I'm an ex-bartender, and I used to read people a lot, but he didn't want another fan. He had millions and millions of fans. He wanted a pal. He wanted a buddy, and that happened for me. I'd stay in his home 6 times a year, you know, down his compound down in Rancho Mirage. Frank never went to bed till the sun came up. He was nocturnal, whether we were on the road or off the road. So he would come and get me out of my bungalow on his compound and say, let's take a ride, Tommy. And we'd ride around the desert till dawn, just Frank and I.
Wow.
And it was wonderful moments, because toward the end of his life, he really opened up a lot more. And when I first started touring with him, he was the boss of this magnificent tour. Halfway through that tour, he was like a buddy. We hung out together. And toward the end of his life, he was like a father to me, and gave me a lot of advice. And I used to make him laugh, you know, because he stayed up till dawn all the time. This went on for like 10 years. I toured with him 14 years, but one time we were on the road doing one-nighters everywhere, and we flew into Las Vegas. We opened at the Desert Inn, did 2 shows, and now it's 4:30 in the morning, and he's going strong, and I want to go to bed. I want to go play golf. And I get up from the table. There's like 5 guys, and he's telling stories, and I get up, and he said, hey, where you going? I said, I'm going to bed. He said, what for? I said, I got to get up early in the morning, go to the cemetery and visit all those guys. He said, what guys? I said, all those guys who died staying up with you every night. And he laughed. He said, go to bed. And
that's great.